Expand your vocabulary with our Core 2000 Words ebook. It's free and packed with essential expressions that you'll use on a daily basis. Start building your vocabulary today. Click the link in the description below to download your free Polish ebook before it's gone.
Welcome to PolishPod101.com's Polski w 3 minuty. The fastest, easiest and most fun way to learn Polish. Cześć, jestem Joanna. Miło Cię poznać. Hi, I'm Joanna. Nice to meet you. In this series, we're going to learn basic Polish expressions. It's super easy and it only takes 3 minutes. In this lesson, you're going to learn how to introduce yourself in Polish. We'll start speaking right away. But first, it's important to clarify that in Polish often there is a difference between formal and informal language. Let's first see how Polish people introduce themselves in an informal situation. Cześć, jestem Joanna. Hi, I'm Joanna. Cześć, jestem Joanna. Miło mi Cię poznać means nice to meet you, but Polish people don't really use this phrase. In informal situations, it's better if you just say miło mi. Start by saying cześć, jestem, then say your name. Cześć, jestem Joanna. Finally, if you want, say miło mi. Cześć, jestem Joanna. Miło mi. And now let's see the same sentence in formal speech. Dzień dobry, nazywam się Joanna Suchecka. Miło mi Pana poznać. Good day, my name is Joanna Suchecka. Nice to meet you. Dzień dobry. Nazywam się Joanna Suchecka. Miło mi Pana poznać. This is what you say if you're talking to a man. If you're talking to a woman, say dzień dobry. Nazywam się Joanna Suchecka. Miło mi Panią poznać. Dzień dobry. Nazywam się Joanna Suchecka. Miło mi Panią poznać. So, what has changed from the previous introduction? Let's take a close look at these expressions together. Cześć has been substituted with the formal greeting dzień dobry, Polish for good day or good morning. Jestem Joanna also changed. Jestem simply means I am. However, during a formal self-introduction, you should avoid saying this. It's better to say nazywam się Joanna Suchecka, which means my name is Joanna Suchecka. Also, in formal situations, please remember to say your full name. Finally, pay attention to the ending. We went from miło Cię poznać to miło mi Pana or Panią poznać. We changed Cię into Pana or Panią. If you use Cię, you're addressing someone around your age. But if you find yourself in a formal situation or talk to a person who's older than you, use Pana to address a man or Panią to address a woman. One more time. The informal way to introduce yourself in Polish is cześć. Jestem Joanna. Miło mi. The formal way to introduce yourself is dzień dobry. Nazywam się Joanna Suchecka. Miło mi Pana poznać. Or dzień dobry. Nazywam się Joanna Suchecka. Miło mi Panią poznać. Now it's time for Joanna's insights. If you feel confused about the nice to meet you part, feel free to skip it. As I mentioned before, Polish people don't use it much. When you introduce yourself, it's a good habit to shake hands. It doesn't matter whether you're meeting a man or a woman. Do the handshake. Remember to make it quite firm. If your hand is too loose, it gives the other person a bad impression. We also say it feels like holding a dead fish. That's it for this lesson. Do you know how we say thank you in Polish? You'll learn how to say this and much more in the next lesson. Do zobaczenia! See you!
Hello everybody, this is Marzena from PolishPod101.com, and today I want to talk about two different ways of giving reasons in Polish. So to give reasons in Polish, you have basically two choices. And we will talk about both, and we will say what the difference is. And there is mostly difference in structure, and because of that the meaning changes only a little bit, but they are very, very similar. So first of all, one way of giving reasons in Polish is to use the word żeby or aby. And you can choose whichever you like better. So you can choose, you can use żeby or you can use aby. The meaning is the same, the formality level is the same roughly, and they both mean in order to, in order to. And to use żeby or aby in a sentence, you must remember one very important rule. So both żeby and aby are always being followed by an infinitive. So a verb in infinitive form, when we give reasons, of course, they're always being followed by a verb in infinitive form. What does it mean? Well, infinitive form is just like a dictionary form, like the simplest form you learn, and then you kind of conjugate that and make it more difficult. So actually this is easy to use because you just use the verb in an infinitive form. And it can be single verb, or it can be verb as with many other words together, so as a phrase. But the verb in that phrase has to be in infinitive form. So now let's look at a couple of examples. Uczę się polskiego, żeby pojechać do Polski. Uczę się polskiego, żeby pojechać do Polski. This means uczę się polskiego, I'm studying Polish, żeby, in order to, pojechać do Polski, go to Poland. And again, like you can change this żeby here into aby, and there is absolutely no problem with that. This is the same sentence. So you can also say uczę się polskiego, aby pojechać do Polski. And the meaning stays the same. Notice that the verb pojechać here, pojechać, is in the infinitive form. And in Polish, almost all verbs in infinitive form have this ci at the end. So pojechać is the dictionary form, infinitive form. Pojechać do Polski. So this is a whole phrase. Doesn't really matter if it's only a verb or a whole phrase, but the verb has to stay infinitive. Then we have next one, ćwiczę, aby być w formie. Ćwiczę, aby być w formie. Again, we start with a verb here, ćwiczę, I exercise, aby, in order to, być w formie. Być w formie, to stay fit, in order to stay fit. So I exercise in order to stay fit. Again, we have być. Być is the verb, so to be, and it's in its infinitive form. Again, the ci here is kind of showing us that it's a verb in infinitive form. And you can change this aby into żeby, not a problem. Now, the last example is a little bit different. So, przyjechałem do Polski, żeby uczyć się polskiego. Przyjechałem do Polski, żeby uczyć się polskiego. What does it mean? Well, przyjechałem do Polski means I came to Poland. So, notice that uczę się or ćwiczę, they are both in the present tense. While przyjechałem is actually a masculine form, so a guy would say that, and this is a past tense. So this is past tense from the verb przyjechać, to come. Przyjechałem, I came. So you can use this żeby or aby with past tense, with future tense, with present tense, it doesn't really matter. It's all here in the first part, while the second part always stays in the infinitive form. So the first part can be past tense if we are talking about past, or future tense if we are talking about future, or can be present tense if we are talking about present. But the second part always has to be in the infinitive form, so the dictionary form. And also one important note, so here you can use żeby or aby, whichever you like. But also there is one more usage to this. So this is giving reasons, but please note that żeby with past tense, so not infinitive form but past tense, can be also used for requests. So not reasons but requests. We will not cover it here today because that's a little bit different topic, but please remember that if you don't use it with infinitive form, but you use it with past tense, then it's a request. And then we have another way of giving reasons. So we already covered żeby, aby, and we will look at another way. So now, another way of giving reasons is in Polish, it's to use bo. Bo means just because, and it's very simple and very similar to English actually. So same as in English, because is being followed by a sentence. And here in Polish as well, bo is being followed by a whole sentence. So not only infinitive form, but the whole sentence. And for example, you can say, uczę się polskiego, bo chcę pojechać do Polski. Uczę się polskiego, bo chcę pojechać do Polski. This means almost the same as we've done before. So uczę się polskiego means I'm studying Polish, bo, because, chcę pojechać do Polski. Chcę, I want to. Because I want to go to Poland. And please notice that if we take this first part and we just leave chcę pojechać do Polski, that's a perfectly formed sentence. And it means I want to go to Poland. And you may say, oh, wait a minute, there is the verb in the infinitive form, pojechać, that's true, but that's not our main verb here. Our main verb here is chcę, chcę. And chcę comes from a verb chcieć, which this is infinitive form of it. And chcę is already conjugated. You can also say, the same as we had before, ćwiczę, bo chcę być w formie. Ćwiczę, bo chcę być w formie. Ćwiczę, I exercise because I want to stay fit or I want to be fit. Again, if we take this first part and we just leave chcę być w formie, that's perfectly well-formed Polish sentence and it means I want to stay fit, I want to be fit. And one more, a little bit different example. Przyjechałem do Polski, bo chcę nauczyć się polskiego. Przyjechałem do Polski, bo chcę nauczyć się polskiego. I came to Poland because I want to study Polish, or actually I want to learn Polish. So you probably noticed that this nauczyć się is a little bit different than what we had here, uczę się, like there is this na at the beginning. Yes, it's infinitive form, yes, but there is a na at the beginning, so it's kind of what is happening, right? But this na is actually, it's just showing us that this person wants to learn Polish, and this is like a complete action. So it's a perfective aspect of a verb. This means that it's already over, completed. Doesn't mean that it's already happened, but it means that I want to learn, like fully learn, finish it, not only like study and maybe fail. No, I want to learn and actually succeed. That's what nauczyć means, that's the difference. Uczę się means I'm studying now, but I still have a lot to learn. Nauczyć się here, it means that's already completed. So I came to Poland because I want to, maybe in the future, I chcę, that's not past, that's future, nauczyć się polskiego. In the future, because I want to fully learn Polish. That's why I came to Poland. I'm already in Poland. So again, you can change this present tense to past tense, and there is absolutely no problem with that. So let's wrap it up. We have two ways of giving reasons in Poland, and the major difference is the structure. And because the structure is a little bit different, the meaning on the second part, yeah, I had to add this word chcę, so it changes a little bit. And one way is to use żeby or aby, and you can use either, whichever you prefer. And those are always being followed by infinitive. So it can be one word, one verb, or it can be a phrase, but the verb in this phrase has to be in infinitive. Now, another way of saying, of giving reasons is to use bo. And bo is always followed by a sentence. So it cannot be followed only by infinitive verb. In this sentence, there can be infinitive verb, but there has to be conjugated verb as well. It has to be a sentence, basically. So those are our two ways of giving reasons in Polish. And please also remember that żeby, when it's followed by past tense, it can be used, or actually it is used, to give requests, to make requests, not reasons. So that the meaning changes. So this is very important, the infinitive part here. And yeah, that's it for today. Thank you for watching. If you like it, please give us thumbs up and subscribe to our channel and go to polishpod101.com to get your free lifetime account. See you again. Thank you.
Want to master grammar so you can speak properly, express yourself better, and understand more? In this video, I'll show you how to master grammar with our lessons and learning program. Let's begin. Number 1. Listen to the lesson conversations and explanations. In every lesson, you learn a conversation. Then, our teachers break down every word and grammar rule. So you're actually learning grammar rules in the context of conversations, and you can easily see how they're used. Once you're done, review the conversation again and again to remember what you've learned. Number 2. Read the bonus explanations and tutorials. With the lesson notes, you get extra grammar explanations and examples that are not presented in the lesson. After you're done with the lesson, read the lesson notes for extra review. You can even save them as PDFs so that you can access them anytime. Number 3. Leave a comment on the lesson. Once you've learned a grammar point, be sure to use it. Leave a comment in the comments section. Write some example sentences for practice. Our teachers will review your comment and give you feedback. Number 4. Unlock even more grammar lessons. If you want to find all of the grammar lessons available, visit our lesson library. Under Category, choose Grammar. You'll get all of the pathways and lessons dedicated to helping you learn and master sentence patterns and grammar points. So, if you're ready to finally learn a new language the fast, fun, and easy way, sign up for your free lifetime account by clicking on the link in the description. Signing up takes less than 30 seconds, and you'll start speaking from your very first lesson. If you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share it with anyone who's trying to learn a new language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. I'll see you next time. Bye!
Welcome to Can Do Polish by PolishPod101.com.
Cześć wszystkim, jestem Emil Nowak. Hi everyone, I'm Emil Nowak. In this lesson, you learn how to introduce yourself in Polish.
Wondering how you can master these conversations even faster? Here's how. 1. Read along. You get the lesson conversation and translations inside our dialogue tool, so that you see each word as you hear it and understand it all. 2. Practice speaking. By shadowing what you hear, you can also record and compare yourself with native speakers with our voice recording tools. And 3. Take our assessment tests and see how much you remember. These tools are part of our Can Do course. Just click the link in the description to get them.
This is Mark Lee, and he's on a plane to Poland. Mark is having a casual conversation with Maciej Mazur, a passenger sitting next to him. After a short exchange, Maciej introduces himself. My name is Maciej Mazur, and you are?
Nazywam się Maciej Mazur. A pan?
Listen to the conversation and focus on Mark's response. Ready?
Nazywam się Maciej Mazur. A pan?
Jestem Mark Lee. Miło mi.
Once more with the English translation.
Nazywam się Maciej Mazur. A pan?
My name is Maciej Mazur. And you are?
Jestem Mark Lee. Miło mi.
I'm Mark Lee. Nice to meet you.
Let's take a closer look at the conversation.
Do you remember how Maciej Mazur introduces himself? I'm Maciej Mazur. And you are?
Nazywam się Maciej Mazur. A pan?
First is,
Nazywam się.
meaning I call myself.
Nazywam się.
Note
Nazywam się.
is the shortened form of,
Ja nazywam się.
in Polish,
Ja.
I is usually omitted,
Nazywam się.
is from the verb,
Nazywać się.
meaning to call oneself.
Nazywać się.
Next is the name
Maciej Mazur.
Maciej Mazur.
Maciej Mazur. Maciej Mazur.
Together,
Nazywam się Maciej Mazur.
literally, I call myself Maciej Mazur, but it translates as my name is Maciej Mazur.
Nazywam się Maciej Mazur.
Next is,
A pan?
which translates as and you are in this context.
A pan?
First is
A.
and, as in and you are.
A. A.
Next is
Pan.
translating as you in this formal context.
Pan. Pan.
Note
Pan.
is a formal way to address a male, and it often translates as Mr. Altogether, it's
Nazywam się Maciej Mazur. A pan?
literally, I call myself Maciej Mazur. And you? But translates as my name is Maciej Mazur. And you are?
Nazywam się Maciej Mazur. A pan?
Do you remember how Mark says, I'm Mark Lee. Nice to meet you.
Jestem Mark Lee. Miło mi.
First is
Jestem.
I am.
Jestem. Jestem.
Note
Jestem.
is a shortened form of
Ja jestem.
I am. In Polish,
Ja.
I is usually omitted as it is understood from context. Next is the name
Mark Lee.
Mark Lee.
Mark Lee. Mark Lee.
Together,
Jestem Mark Lee.
I'm Mark Lee.
Jestem Mark Lee.
Next is
Miło mi.
literally pleases me, but translates as nice to meet you.
Miło mi. Miło mi.
This expression can be used in many contexts and is appropriate for both formal and informal situations. Altogether, it's
Jestem Mark Lee. Miło mi.
literally, I'm Mark Lee, pleases me. But it translates as I'm Mark Lee. Nice to meet you.
Jestem Mark Lee. Miło mi.
The pattern is
Jestem name.
I'm name.
Jestem name.
To use this pattern, simply replace the name placeholder with your given name or given name and surname. Note, this pattern requires a proper noun. Imagine you're Karen Lee. In Polish,
Karen Lee. Karen Lee. Karen Lee.
say, I'm Karen Lee. Ready?
Jestem Karen Lee.
I'm Karen Lee.
Jestem Karen Lee.
In Polish, there are both informal and formal ways of speaking. What you use depends on whom you're speaking with. According to Polish etiquette, in a formal situation, the person you're talking to should be addressed in a polite manner. When addressing a male, use pan, meaning Mr. When addressing a female, use pani, meaning Miss. This is also the polite way to approach strangers, people significantly older than you, and others in a formal situation. In the conversation you learned, a pan, and you, when addressing a male. If Maciej were addressing a female, he would have said, a pani, and you. In casual situations or when talking to your peers, you can use the informal ty, meaning you. A ty, and you.
Let's look at some more examples. Listen and repeat, or speak along with the native speakers.
Nazywam się Maciej Mazur. Nazywam się Maciej Mazur.
Jestem Mark Lee. Jestem Mark Lee.
Jestem Karen, miło mi. Jestem Karen, miło mi.
Dzień dobry. Jestem Emil Nowak. Dzień dobry. Jestem Emil Nowak.
Mam na imię Zuzanna. Mam na imię Zuzanna.
Did you notice how the last speaker uses a different pattern?
Wondering how you can master these conversations even faster? Here's how. 1. Read along. You get the lesson conversation and translations inside our dialogue tool, so that you see each word as you hear it and understand it all. 2. Practice speaking. By shadowing what you hear, you can also record and compare yourself with native speakers with our voice recording tools. And 3. Take our assessment tests and see how much you remember. These tools are part of our Can-Do course. Just click the link in the description to get them.
Mam na imię Zuzanna.
My name is Zuzanna.
Mam na imię Zuzanna.
First is
Mam.
literally I have, but translates as my in this context.
Mam. Mam.
Note,
Mam.
is the shortened form of,
Ja mam.
in Polish,
Ja.
I is usually omitted,
Mam.
is from the verb
Mieć.
meaning to have.
Mieć.
Next is
Na.
at.
Na. Na.
Note, there is no corresponding English translation for.
Na.
Next is
Imię.
literally first name, but translates as name.
Imię. Imię.
Together,
Mam na imię.
my first name is.
Mam na imię.
Note, this pattern can only be used with first names and requires a proper noun. Next is the name
Zuzanna.
Zuzanna.
Zuzanna. Zuzanna.
Altogether,
Mam na imię Zuzanna.
literally means I have first name Zuzanna, but translates as my name is Zuzanna.
Mam na imię Zuzanna.
The pattern is
Mam na imię name.
my name is name. To use this pattern, simply replace the name placeholder with your first name. You should be aware of this pattern, but you won't need it for this lesson. Let's review the new vocabulary.
Dzień dobry.
Hello,
Dzień dobry. Dzień dobry. Let's review. Respond to the prompts by speaking aloud. Then, repeat after me, focusing on pronunciation. Ready? Do you remember how to say, nice to meet you? Miło mi. Miło mi. And the Polish pronunciation of Mark Lee's name? Mark Lee. Mark Lee. Do you remember how Mark Lee says, I'm Mark Lee? Jestem Mark Lee. Jestem Mark Lee. Do you remember how Mark Lee says, I'm Mark Lee. Nice to meet you.
Jestem Mark Lee. Miło mi.
Jestem Mark Lee. Miło mi. Do you remember how Maciej Mazur says, my name is Maciej Mazur? Literally, I call myself Maciej Mazur. Nazywam się Maciej Mazur. Nazywam się Maciej Mazur. Do you remember the formal word for you when addressing a male speaker? Pan. Pan. Do you remember how Maciej Mazur says, my name is Maciej Mazur, and you are?
Nazywam się Maciej Mazur. A pan?
Nazywam się Maciej Mazur, a pan? And do you remember the formal word for you when addressing a female speaker? Pani. Pani.
Let's practice. Imagine you're Karen Lee.
Karen Lee.
Respond by saying, I'm Karen Lee. Ready?
Nazywam się Maciej Mazur. A pani?
Jestem Karen Lee.
Listen again and repeat.
Jestem Karen Lee. Jestem Karen Lee.
Let's try another. Imagine you're Zuzanna Zając.
Zuzanna Zając.
Include nice to meet you in your response. Ready?
Nazywam się Maciej Mazur. A pani?
Jestem Zuzanna Zając. Miło mi.
Listen again and repeat.
Jestem Zuzanna Zając. Miło mi. Jestem Zuzanna Zając. Miło mi.
Let's try one more. Imagine you're Emil Novak.
Emil Nowak.
Say, my name is Emil Novak. Literally, I call myself Emil Novak. Ready?
Jestem Maciej Mazur. A pan?
Nazywam się Emil Nowak.
Listen again and repeat.
Nazywam się Emil Nowak. Nazywam się Emil Nowak. In casual situations, you can also use this pattern with just your first name. For example, Karen Lee can simply say, Jestem Karen. I'm Karen. Jestem Karen. This is the end of this lesson.
Now, here's what you can do to cement this conversation in your head. Review the conversation with our dialogue tool and lesson transcripts. Study the key words and phrases with our spaced repetition flashcards. Review the key grammar and cultural tips inside the lesson notes. And test yourself with our assessment tests. So click the link in the description right now and sign up for your free lifetime account to access our Can-Do course.
Now you know how to introduce yourself in Polish. That's all there is to it. Keep practicing and move on to the next lesson.
Hello everyone, it's Marzena from PolishPod101.com, and today I want to teach you the difference between two Polish prepositions, do and na. So today we are going to study the difference between na and do. And both of those prepositions, they translate into to in English. So both we can use when we talk about going somewhere. I'm going to my friend's house. I'm going to school. I'm going to work. I'm going to a party. And in English it's just one word and it covers it all. In Polish we have two words. And when you start learning Polish, you may first encounter do. And then right after you kind of learn na, and you are a little bit confused about how to use those and what to do and where to use it. So let's look at it today. Now, in most cases, you will use do, but let's start with na. So when do you use na? Once again, na translates as to, so when you're going to somewhere. And just let me really emphasize this. We are talking about going somewhere, moving somewhere, because we are talking about dynamic prepositions. Dynamic meaning that we are going somewhere. And na can be a dynamic preposition, but it can also be a static preposition when we are somewhere, like on or in English. And we are not talking about this. We are talking about dynamic preposition na. So with dynamic preposition na, we use it with accusative case. Accusative case, this means that when we conjugate, or when we change the word after na, the noun after na, we use it with in accusative case. In accusative case. But this is only when we are talking about moving somewhere, not when we are talking about the static na. The static na we use with locative case, but this is not what we are going to talk about. So once again, after na, the noun is in accusative case. So don't forget to change it. And now, when do we use na? Well, first, we use na with islands or peninsulas. So when we are talking about going to an island, or when we are talking about going to a peninsula, we will use na. And the name of the island that follows, or the name of peninsula that follows, will be used in accusative case. So, for example, you can say, jadę na Majorkę. Jadę na Majorkę. Jadę na Majorkę means I'm going to Majorca. And jadę means to go somewhere by bus or by car or to fly somewhere, but not on foot. So jadę na Majorkę means I'm going to Majorca. Obviously, we are not walking there. Here we have another example. Jadę na Bali. Jadę na Bali. Jadę na Bali means I'm going to Bali. And both Majorca and Bali are in theirs accusative case. So usually if you go to a dictionary, you open, you see Majorca, you will have Majorca, not Majorkę. So once again, first we can use na with islands and peninsulas. What else? Well, when we go to an event, when we move to an event, when we go to an event, to a party, to a, I don't know, well, something like big opening or something like that, we use na. So for example, you can say idę na przyjęcie. Idę na przyjęcie. I'm going to a party. Idę na przyjęcie. And well, you can also change this idę to jadę. This will mean that I'm going by car or by bus or by ferry or whatever. But idę na przyjęcie, well, the basic image is that you are walking. It doesn't need, I mean, you can still write, but you are not stressing it out here. You are just saying idę, I'm going, but it doesn't really say I'm riding. And another thing, you can say idę na wykład. Idę na wykład. Wykład is a lecture. So you see, lecture is also an event. Something happening in a place is an event. So idę na wykład means I'm going to a lecture. And again, I'm using idę, which usually means on foot, but doesn't really have to be. It's just stating the fact that I'm going there, but you can write. That's not a problem. Now, so those are the main 2 points. First, islands and peninsulas, and then events. But that's not all. There are some exceptions, of course. And I will just teach you 2 main exceptions here, because I think that those are the ones that you will probably encounter first starting learning Polish. But there are some more. So first one, when we use, oh, actually I'm going to teach you 3 exceptions, bonus one. So first we use it with the word poczta, poczta. The word poczta means post office. So when you are going to a post office, this is not an event, it's not an island or a peninsula, but you still use na. Jadę na pocztę. Jadę na pocztę. You can also say idę na pocztę, which would just imply that you are walking on your foot. Now, so the first one is post office, poczta. The second one is uniwersytet, uniwersytet, which is a university. And you can say jadę na uniwersytet. Jadę na uniwersytet. Jadę na uniwersytet. Again, universitet or university, it's not an event, it's a place. But yet you will use na. And it's definitely not an island, although I wish it would be. And the last one is lotnisko. Lotnisko. Lotnisko is an airport. And here as well, you will use na instead of the other one we will talk about. So, jadę na lotnisko. Jadę na lotnisko. So to put it all together, preposition na, when we go somewhere, we use with accusative case. This means that the noun that follows will be in accusative case, and we use it with names of islands, peninsulas. We also use it when we are going to an event, and there are some exceptions we just learned. Those 3 exceptions we just learned are poczta, post office, lotnisko, airport, and uniwersytet, university. For now, that's all about preposition na. Now let's look at the other one. So the other one is preposition do. Preposition do also translates as to, and we also use it when moving somewhere, when we are going somewhere. So when do we use do? Well, if na covers islands and events, and then there are some exceptions, then do covers everything else basically. So it's used in most cases when we are heading somewhere, specific. For example, jadę do domu, jadę do domu. I'm going to my home, or home, but probably mine. Jadę do szkoły, jadę do szkoły. I'm going to school. Jadę do pracy. Jadę do pracy. I'm going to work. And so on and so on. And of course you can change jadę into idę, which means just I'm doing it on food, you know. Okay, now another usage, or very specific usage. So when we go to an event, we use preposition na. But when we go to a person's place, we use preposition do. So for example, if I say I'm going to a party, then I will say idę na przyjęcie, which was exactly here, idę na przyjęcie. But if this party is organized in my friend's house, and just instead saying I'm going to a party, I'm just going to say I'm going to Tomek's place, Tomek being my friend's name, in Polish you would just say idę do Tomka. Idę do Tomka. You can also say, like, you have a friend Basia, and you are going to Basia's place, and maybe there is a party, but you don't mention the party. You're just saying, I'm going to Basia's place. Then in Polish you would say, idę do Basi. Idę do Basi. I'm going to Basia's place. Idę do Basi. Notice that those words here, those nouns here, they're all being changed into genitive form. Into genitive form. So the genitive case. Okay, so we now know that do is used mostly when we are going somewhere, heading somewhere. If it wasn't covered by na, what we explained right now, then if we are going to somebody's place, also when we are going to a foreign country, we would use do. For example, jadę do Ameryki. Jadę do Ameryki. So I'm going to America. Jadę do Japonii. Jadę do Japonii. I'm going to Japan. Jadę do Niemiec. Jadę do Niemiec. I'm going to Germany. Also jadę do Anglii. I don't have this example here, but jadę do Anglii means I'm going to England. Jadę do Anglii. Now England, and actually Japan as well, is an island, but we are not speaking about the island, we are speaking about the country, so we use do. Jadę do. So once again, we said that we use na in kind of like very specific cases. First, when we have an island or peninsula. Then when we have an event, when we move to an event. And then I said, well, there are those three exceptions I really want you to remember because you will meet them in your real life. Now, we use do in most of the other cases. So if instead of an event, we have a name of a person we are going to, then we use do. And many other like everyday cases where we just move to somewhere specific that are not covered by this. Also countries, but there are some exceptions. First of all, those two countries I want you to remember. There are maybe some more, around 6 or 7, but there are those two that probably will come up in a conversation. So those I want you to remember. And those are jadę na Ukrainę, jadę na Ukrainę, jadę na Węgry, jadę na Węgry. So both Ukraina and Węgry are those exceptions, and as you probably, well, you can suspect that Ukraina is Ukraine and Węgry is Hungary, Hungary. So those two are exceptions, and because there are exceptions and we use them with na, they are here not in genitive case, but in accusative case. So we change the word accordingly to the preposition. One last thing I want you to tell, I want to tell you about those two prepositions. So one last thing I want to tell you about those two prepositions is that, well, generally you can think about it like do is going to somewhere specific, while na is more like heading into that direction. So you can use them to just, distinguish between those two meanings. Usually, if you are going to a city, you will use do. But let's look at those two examples. Jadę do Krakowa. Jadę do Krakowa. Jadę do Krakowa. Jadę na Kraków. Jadę na Kraków. Jadę na Kraków. So what is the difference? As I said, well, generally, those are the rules that you have to remember, but just keep in mind that do is more specific and na is more broad, like just that direction, but not exactly there. In which case, you actually can make a sentence like this, or sentences, two sentences, to distinguish between those two meanings. And what it tells you is that jadę do Krakowa means I'm going to Krakow, or Krakow, which, well, I will end up in Krakow, hopefully. But jadę na Kraków, it means I'm heading into that direction, but, you know, maybe I will not go there. I'm just heading into Krakow's direction just to explain direction, but doesn't mean I'm going to Krakow. So I hope that makes it a little bit more clear, the meaning or the difference between meanings between those two is clearer right now, or so I hope. And let's just wrap it up again. So one more time, we have two dynamic prepositions when we move somewhere, and this is na and this is do, and both are being translated as to into English. Na is being followed by accusative case. Do is being followed by genitive case. This just means that you need to change the noun after that. And na is being used with, well, names of islands, peninsulas, or when we talk about an event, so when we go to an event. And then here are those three exceptions I want you to remember, which is post office, airport, and university. While do is being used in most of the other cases. And also when we go to somebody's place, to somebody's house, to somebody's place, when we just say the name of this person. I'm going to Tomek's, I'm going to Marta's, and so on, we use do. And also we use do with countries, but there are some exceptions, and two I want you to remember are Ukraine and Hungary. And then the overall meaning of do and na is just that, you know, do is more specific, na is more like heading that direction, which you can actually show in those two sentences here. Yeah, jadę na Kraków, jadę do Krakowa. So you can actually play with those meanings if you want to. That's all for today. I hope you enjoyed it. And please remember, if you liked it, just give us thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to go to polishpod101.com for more content like this. Thank you again and see you next time!
Cześć, jestem Joanna. Hi, I'm Joanna. Welcome to polishpod101.com's Polski w 3 minuty, the fastest, easiest and most fun way to learn Polish. In the last lesson, we learned how to introduce ourselves in Polish. In this lesson, we're going to learn how to use good manners as we thank people. Gotowi? Are you ready? Let's start. There are two ways to thank someone. Let's start with the easiest one. It's just one word. Dziękuję. Dziękuję. Dziękuję means thank you. When saying thank you very much, you just need to add bardzo. Dziękuję bardzo. If we want to thank a friend, usually we use a different, more casual word. Dzięki. Dzięki. Dzięki is very similar to the English thanks, so you shouldn't use it when your friend did something especially nice for you or when the situation is serious. We usually use it to thank for small favors. For example, if a friend bought a drink for us, lent us a pen, helped us carry our bags, and so on. How do you answer? It's easy. Here are two different ways to do it. The first is nie ma za co. Nie ma za co. This means you're welcome. Nie ma za co can be used with anybody, except in a very formal situation. In such cases, it's better to use this expression. Przyjemność po mojej stronie. przyjemność po mojej stronie. Literally, this phrase means pleasure is on my side. It's not a very common thing to say among young people or between friends and family members. But it will be considered very good manners if you answer with this expression in a formal situation, such as while talking to your boss or speaking to someone much older than you. You can also simply say it to someone you don't know very well. So when someone says dziękuję to you, you can reply with nie ma za co or przyjemność po mojej stronie. If you hear dzięki, it might be a bit too much to respond to this casual phrase by saying nie ma za co or przyjemność po mojej stronie. So how might you react then? You have two options. First one is just to say nothing. Don't worry, it's a normal thing to do. The second option is to say spoko. Spoko. This means something like it's cool. If you want, you can also answer using this phrase. Nie ma problemu. Nie ma problemu. This means it's no problem. Now it's time for Joanna's insights. If you want to keep it simple, just use dziękuję or dziękuję bardzo when you want to thank someone. It doesn't matter whether the situation is formal or informal. It's always the same. Remember not to say przyjemność po mojej stronie to your friends, because it will sound a little bit weird. If someone thanks you saying dzięki, just answer spoko. But please note that these two words are very casual. Do you know what do widzenia means? In our next lesson, you'll learn this and other greetings in Polish. Dziękuję i do zobaczenia na następnej lekcji.
Expand your vocabulary with our Core 2000 Words ebook. It's free and packed with essential expressions that you'll use on a daily basis. Start building your vocabulary today. Click the link in the description below to download your free Polish ebook before it's gone.